In this video, you're going to learn about integers and what they are. Basically, integers are whole numbers that can be expressed either as positive numbers or negative numbers. The pictures that you see on the screen show some real-world examples where positive and negative integers are used. On the thermometer, you can see that when the temperature is above 0, then the integer that is representing it, the temperature, is positive. When the temperature falls below 0, then the integer becomes negative. With respect to money, if you have money in your bank account, then we represent that with positive integers. However, if you spend more money than you actually have, then your bank account statement will go into negative integers. Finally, the last diagram relates very nicely with what you are learning in geography. Elevation and altitude are things that are measured in positive and negative integers. You can see that the mountain top is 1,025 meters above sea level, and that number is considered a positive integer. However, the land that is below the ocean is 155 meters below sea level, so that is represented with a negative integer. This table shows more examples of how integers are used in the real world. I've already talked about the first 3 or 4 examples on either side of the table, but I want to bring your attention to a couple more of the examples. A few numbers down, or a few rows down, you're going to see where it says basement car park levels on the negative side, and then on the positive side it says floors above ground level. And that's very typical examples of negative and positive integers, because if you think about it, when you're driving in the car, you're considered to be on ground level, which is represented by 0. But as soon as you start going into an underground parking garage, every level down that you go is a number below 0. So quite often, the first level of parking below the ground level is labeled as like P1. And then if you go another level down, it's P2, and then P3, and so on. Whereas if you're going into any building, for every floor that you're going above ground level, they increase by 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. At the bottom of each column, you'll see that where it says on the negative side we have down and west, and on the positive side we have up and east. And if you think down and up, that relates very well to the thermometer. So when the temperature is going down, it's going in a negative direction. When it's going up, it's going in a positive direction. With the west and the east, to me, that relates really well to a horizontal number line, because west relates to what's going on the left-hand side of 0, so that's the negative side, and east is relating to what's going on the right-hand side of the number line, which is positive. So I've already been talking about positive and negative integers, and I've included this number line here so that you can see how they're arranged on the number line. Any number that is to the right of 0 is considered a positive integer, whereas any number that is to the left of 0 is considered to be a negative integer. You need to notice, though, and be aware that as you're moving in the negative or left direction from 0, you're counting -1, -2, -3, and so on. So it's like a mirror image of the positive integer side. On the number line you see in front of you, you'll notice that there's an arrow pointing across from -3 on the left-hand side to +3 on the right-hand side. These integers are the same distance away from 0, but in opposite directions, which makes them opposite integers. This is also true for -2 and +2, and -1 and +1, because they're all the same distance away from their opposite partner. In addition to being called opposite integers, they are also referred to as zero pairs. And this is a concept that's going to be very important when we get into adding and subtracting of integers. Now, I'm going to erase the lines I just drew because I want to show you why opposites or zero pairs represent 0. So if I come back to where I was, and change the size of my pen here, I'm going to use -3 and +3. Now, to see that they equal 0, I'm going to first say that -3, and if I'm adding +3 to it, that should equal 0. Now, if that's not making intuitive sense to you, I'll show you on the number line. So I'm going to mark my starting point, which is -3. And when I'm adding +3 to it, I'm basically moving in the positive direction, or I'm moving to the right. And I'm moving by 3 spots. So 1, 2, 3. And my landing point is 0. So I know that -3 plus +3 equals 0, or that 0 pair becomes 0. Now that you've finished watching the video, I want you to go back into Edmodo, find the online quiz in the assignment section, and complete it. It will be very short, and its purpose is to check your understanding, to see if you really do have a grasp of the concepts that you learned about in this video. If you would like to go back and watch the video a few more times before attempting the quiz, that's fine. If you even want to check out the questions on the quiz before going back and watching the video, I'm fine with that too. The whole purpose is for you to come away from this experience understanding these initial concepts about integers. Integers in the real world, positive and negative integers, zero pairs, and opposite integers. Good luck.